the owners of the Return to Nature funeral home, authorities found nearly 200 decaying bodies. The couple were taken into custody in Oklahoma and charged with 4 felonies: abuse of a corpse, theft, money laundering, and forgery.
Yeah, that's weird.
G'day everyone, Flan here. I'm joined by Craig Newman.
G'day.
Today we are going to be talking about funeral home flogs. Hey,
Thanks, Tim Floggins, for getting us onto this.
yes, our episodes are not for kids. Kids, if you're listening.
Go fuck yourself.
And
Drink wine.
And we are going to be talking about people whose family members... No, we're going to be talking about people who have family members. If you have...
Well, they don't anymore.
Oh, shit. Okay. If you're a family member of someone who has been in a news story about what's happened to their body after they've been at a funeral home, then this episode's not for you. If you're listening...
We're sorry.
I thought you were going to tell them to fuck off. Okay, cool. No, if this is you, probably don't want to listen to this because we are inappropriate and we'll probably laugh about your dead relative.
We definitely will.
It's
No, we're
mighty by
not
chance.
laughing at your relatives. We are more making fun of the flogs, and unfortunately, there's just collateral damage in that.
Okay, so we're going very recent. A Colorado funeral home owner who stashed 189 bodies in a building over 4 years and gave grieving families fake ashes has been sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Wow. How do you stash that many bodies in a building?
Yeah. Over 4 years as well.
That'd be a hell smelly building.
Yeah, well, that's how they found it. Basically, this guy, John Halford, the families of the people, I just want to say victims. I guess are they victims if they're already dead? Is this a victimless crime?
Yeah.
So the judge, when they were sentencing Halford, said that he caused unspeakable and incomprehensible harm. And Halford apologized before his sentencing and said he would regret his actions for the rest of his life. He said, "I had so many chances to put a stop to everything and walk away, but I did not. My mistakes will echo for a generation. Everything I did was wrong."
Why stash the bodies? I assume your funeral home is a perfectly good crematorium, or why? Why?
Yeah. Oh, look, I don't know. Halford's former wife, Kari Halford, who co-owned the Return to Nature funeral home, is due to be
Return to
sentenced.
Nature. Return to Nature funeral home. That's like calling your funeral home Worm Food Funeral Home.
Maybe it should have been obvious. So, yeah, his former wife, she's due to be sentenced in April and she faces 25 to 35 years in prison. They both pleaded guilty in December to nearly 200 counts of corpse abuse under an agreement with prosecutors. So while they were stashing bodies,
They're the most vulnerable, aren't they?
the dead.
They got no way to fight back, no way to report what's being done to them.
Yeah,
They just suffer in silence. Well, I don't even know if they suffer, but it's in silence.
Yeah. The only sound you can hear is buzzing flies. Okay. So while I was stashing bodies, they spent lavishly, bought vehicles worth more than 120,000 US combined, along with 31,000 in crypto, laser body sculpting and pricey goods from luxury stores such as Gucci and Tiffany & Co. Prosecutor Shelby Crowe said, "This is clearly a crime motivated by greed." So what they would do is they would charge more than Australian $1,700 per customer, and the money the couple spent on luxury items would have covered the cost to cremate all of the bodies many times over, Miss Crow said.
Oh, so they send it off and pay for it to be cremated. And then they're meant to make their profit off the top of that. They just skip that step.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Imagine like being like one of the guys that has a funeral home and goes like, "Do you know, if we just don't, like, if we just hang on to the bodies, like our profit
Using
will
this
be
shed down the back. Like, costs us $700 to cremate it. It costs us nothing to drag it and wrap it in a tarp.
It'd
be silly not
business
to.
sense. It is good business sense. But you've got to do better than just stacking them up in a building. They also pleaded guilty to fraud charges after they cheated the government out of nearly US 900,000, Australian 1.28 million in pandemic era small business aid. John Halford got 20 years in prison for that, and Carrie's sentencing is pending.
Wow. So they're just pretty dodgy all around.
Yeah. Being able to get $1.28 million in small business during COVID. Yeah, cool.
I don't know. I thought the funeral home business would have been booming during COVID in the States anyway.
So they stored the bodies in a building from 2019 until 2023, when investigators responded to reports of a stench from the building. Bodies were found throughout, some stacked on top of each other, with swarms of bugs and decomposition fluid covering the floors.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So 4 years, you said.
Yep.
So imagine dragging one in towards the end of that 4-year mark. You definitely have to pull your shirt up over your face.
And also, people that work in funeral homes as well,
I
like,
love smelly shit.
well, they're used to that sort of stuff.
I don't know if the bodies are meant to be stinky in the funeral home stage.
Yeah, but interesting fact, listeners and Craig, funeral homes will be the people that will have to go and collect bodies.
And then they can solve the crime.
Yeah, maybe. So, just to finish that one off, the investigators believe the Halfords gave families dry concrete that resembled ashes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're just like, yeah, no. We usually package it in bags that say Rapid Set on it.
That's it. Like, they didn't even get actual ashes. But what's interesting about that is that when I was researching this episode, I came across like a few different sort of similar stories, and other places use dry concrete powder as well. So
I've never seen ashes of a cremated thing, so I wouldn't know.
yeah, neither of the families of 200 people in Colorado. So, yeah, sorry. We did warn you.
Fucking told you.
Yeah, and look, if they'd used a bit of that concrete powder and a shovel, they may not be in this mess. What do you rate John Halford and his ex-wife, Carrie Halford, on the Flog Meter?
That's a pretty fucked thing to do. I'm going to give him a high 7, high 8.
Yeah.
But it's pretty disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. I would say maybe like a 7, but he did apologize. So that probably brings him down to a 5.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
He saw the errors of his. He's not going to do that again.
And what do you reckon about 40 years as a sentence?
That's a fair whack. But that's 20 years for stashing the bodies and 20 years for the fraud.
No, so it's 40 years for stashing the bodies and then 20 years for the fraud, but they get served at the same time.
How can it be in
Concurrently.
2 places at once?
What?
What if they set him to serve it at different prisons at the same time?
They don't. They didn't.
Well, but I mean, it just seems like a bit of a risk. Like, what if they do?
But they didn't.
What?
They can't. They can't because, like you say, they can't be in 2 places at once.
Yeah, so I don't think you're right on that.
Okay, cool.
So 60 years is quite a long time. 40 years. Yeah, I mean, 4 years and 100, what'd you say, 190 bodies.
Yeah.
That's going
Yeah.
out of your way. Like, yeah. I don't know. I'm not stupid, mate.
Yes. Yeah, fair point. So the next one, Shayna Sims brutally mutilated the remains of Tabitha Lynch. April 30th, 2015, Sims gained entry to a funeral home by telling Lynch's family she was a makeup artist and was there to prepare the body for viewing. So this person died, right? Tabitha Lynch. And so she's in a funeral home and the family's obviously there. And then so this woman, Shayna Sims, turns up and says to the family, "Oh, look, I'm the makeup artist. So I just got to go in and do the makeup." And then she mutilated the body, smeared makeup everywhere, cut off a toe and a breast, cut the hair and took her clothes off. So Lynch had died from natural causes at age 38. Really know how you can die of natural causes at age 38.
It's just done that.
Shayna Sims had thought that Tabitha Lynch was having an affair with her husband.
What?
And
So she didn't even work at the funeral home?
No. She was like, this woman died who she thought was having an affair with her husband. So she was like, all right, well, I'm just going to go to the funeral home.
I'm going to fix that bitch.
Yeah. And then did that.
Jesus.
Fortunately, a worker at the funeral home, like, found it before the family saw.
Makeup artist, yeah.
Yeah. Or the worker goes, "Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Lynch, could you just come and have a look? Is this what she looked like?"
Natural causes, but looking at this,
I've only just come on from my shift, and this is the first time I'm seeing her. Did you want us to redo the makeup or anything? Because our makeup artist, she's just on lunch, and she'll be back, and she does a good job.
she's thought, this isn't looking good.
Yeah. And then Shayna Sims also broke into Lynch's apartment. So she again posed as a funeral home worker to trick Lynch's family into giving her access to the apartment. When the police...
Sorry.
Yeah.
She's mutilated her body.
No, I'm
legit a funeral. Can I have your keys?
I'm assuming she did that before she did the mutilating. I was also found to have done this. So they were like, no, I'm sure she works here because we let her into the apartment like last
What
week.
did you do to the apartment?
I stole jewelry.
No. She sounds like an absolute fuckhead.
Yeah, when they arrested Sims, they found a knife and a box cutter in her possession. The knife had Lynch's hair still attached to it.
Did she have an affair with her husband?
So the husband said no, and later testified against his then estranged wife and claimed, "I didn't even know she'd be capable of doing that."
Well, and the husband said no, and you can't prove it because that natural causes, it says it right there.
Yep. Good point. Then Sims' defense team argued their client was not in the right state of mind and had been humiliated and embarrassed by her husband's infidelity. And she was convicted of burglary and mutilating a corpse and was sentenced to 16 years. But interestingly, in a twist, 4 years later, the US Supreme Court ordered that she be released. The court ruled that because Lynch, the victim, was a Native American and the crime happened on tribal soil, the state of Oklahoma did not have the jurisdiction to convict Sims.
So does that mean that the Native Americans got to deliver some tribal justice?
No. So, yeah, so they're like, pack up your shit, you're going home. And then, but a year later, the US Supreme Court changed its mind.
Fucking hell.
Sims was deemed eligible for conviction because she was not a Native American. She was returned to prison to finish her sentence.
Right. So it's like, hey, I know it's been a year and we let you out, but
Yeah.
pack your shit, we're going back. Fucking hell.
Yep.
I don't really like anything about that whole story.
Nah, and then also, while Sims was free for that 12 months, she was charged with stealing a car.
Right. Okay.
So, what about Shayna Sims?
Oh, I'm going to give her an 8. She sounds fucking awful.
Okay, I'm going to give her a 4 for stealing the jewelry.
Okay.
Craig's looking very surprised. And then I'm going to add on another 4 for mutilating the body.
So you reckon she only gets 4? So if she didn't steal the jewelry,
No, no, that's
you just give her a
4.
4.
That's 4 cumulative. So that means that she's 8. So she's
Not a
on
fucking cloud, mate.
no, so she's on 8. But then I'm also going to take 1 off because the funeral home and the family let her in when she said she was a makeup artist. So she comes down to a 7.
I don't think you can really blame the family here. So, well, you let her in your grieving state, trying to in a place that you're paying for, and someone just says, "Hi, I'm the makeup lady. What are you going to do? Can I see your employment deed, please?"
That's it, yeah. Why are you holding a knife and a box cutter? Don't you have a palette and a brush?
Don't you need makeup? Don't tell me how to do my job. Sorry.
Also, actually, no, that's a fair point because she'd met the family previously as a funeral home worker. Okay, I'll give half a point back for that. So we're at 7.5. But then she stole a car while she was out for 12 months. So I'm going to give her another half for that. So she lands on an 8. That's an 8 for me.
Yeah, I think you got to the right answer in the wrong way on that one, but
Okay. Okay. Next one, kind of like the first one. So in June 1988, state inspectors found several decomposing bodies outside of the Howe Morning Glory Chapel funeral home in Jacksonville, Florida. So initially...
they just found them lying out the front.
Well, initially, they found 9 bodies in and outside of the funeral home, some of which were in hearses. Further investigation led authorities to discover 36 unembalmed bodies and several body parts located inside the building. So the owner, Louis J. Howell, had stacked the majority of the corpses on top of one another in a closet. Examiners determined the owner had stored some bodies for as long as 10 years. So,
why?
I just don't know. But when they exhumed 3 nearby coffins, there was up to 8 bodies contained within one casket.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they convicted Howell of felony theft for accepting money for funerals that were not performed. Court sentenced him to 1 year in prison, but he served less than 3 months.
How can you not perform a funeral? Were you just like, did we have a funeral from them? I don't know. We paid for it. Did we have a...
Yeah. So he pretty much did the same thing. Not quite as many, but that was over 10 years. They even had like 6 more years to think about it and decide not to keep doing it.
They kept doing it. That's wild. But he just left his alone. He didn't even have a dedicated building for it. He just left.
Nah, just different hearses and shit, and like just heaps in one casket.
I mean, like finding a body in a hearse isn't that unusual, surely.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's the perfect crime, really, isn't it? When you think
Yeah.
about it. So this is an interesting one. 25-year-old Julie Mott from San Antonio, Texas, died of complications from cystic fibrosis in August of 2015. Family held her memorial at the Mission Parks funeral home. Before the funeral home employees left for the day, they moved the body into the hallway, planning to transfer the body to the crematorium the next day. So the next morning, they turned up and the casket was empty. So there was no signs of forced entry. They initially suspected Mott's boyfriend, but the police later cleared him. And then Mott's family sued the funeral home for negligence and won the suit in 2018, receiving $8 million in reparations. And the body was never recovered.
No shit.
Yep.
What would you do with it? Maybe I don't want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, true. But just imagine, like, those workers just being like, she was definitely in there yesterday. Like you're not messing around here, are you?
Maybe she wasn't dead. Maybe she got up and left.
Oh, yeah, could be. And now she's sitting on a yacht somewhere enjoying that $8 million.
Insurance fraud.
Yeah.
Insurance fraud? No, it's not really. But yeah, that's weird.
So what would you rate the funeral home on the Flog Meter? Losing the body.
I'm gonna go another 8. That's a pretty fucking dumb thing to do for a funeral home. At least the other guys didn't lose them.
They knew exactly where they were in that big pile of rotting corpses.
Oh, I think this is a particularly like floggy group of people doing this. We joke, but I'm not impressed.
Not good, yeah. So we're going to Australia now. When Ani Valitava last saw her sister Kinezimir, her body was lying on a trolley at the back of a funeral home in suburban Sydney with a white sheet laid on top of her. Ani clearly remembers that day 5 years ago. She arrived late and was wondering how long her sister's body had been left out of the fridge. Her sister's body was in an open-air garage, exposed to the elements, but she assumed her sister had just been moved there so the family could wash her, which is like a Fijian tradition. Yeah. So Arnie, her cousin, and other family members were now at the funeral home getting ready to prepare and dress Kinezmir's body before repatriating her remains back to Fiji. Arnie reached for the edge of the sheet and slowly peeled it away. But then when they pulled the sheet back, they saw ants coming out of her mouth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
no chance that she was eating them when she died?
No, I think we did assume that not.
Right.
It's a Fijian tradition to eat live ants just before you die. Like a Fijian priest comes around.
I don't know what Fijian traditions are. No.
Yeah. So they were shocked, to say the least. And they wanted to make a complaint, but didn't feel that they could because she lived in Fiji and the funeral director wasn't there at the time. So
they just sprayed it with a bit of red and
fucking hell, no. So they were like, in quotation marks, my niece was the one who was really concerned about what she saw, and he said of her Australian niece, and she said she's going to complain about what happened. And then Arnie's niece decided to leave a public review on Google.
That's rough.
They fucked him up. They showed him.
They 1-star review. If I could give it 0 stars, I would.
Yep. Now, I did also have another one. So At a different funeral home a year earlier, Massimo Baroni had a negative experience when his father died. And he went digging online and discovered Adam's funeral home had a bit of a history. So in 2001, Adam had mistakenly cremated 65-year-old man Errol Davidson and
He
buried.
wasn't even dead.
Yeah, that's it. It was attending for someone else's funeral.
Just the idea of like you've got someone that's died and one of their family members there. You're like, on to the cremation. You turn around and the dead person's still there. And you... Oh no!
What have we
Done it
done?
again.
Yeah. So Adam had mistakenly cremated 65-year-old man Errol Davidson and buried 100-year-old Daisy Jones in his stead because they were like, oh, fuck. We've cremated this guy and his family wanted him to be buried. So they, because it was like a 100-year-old woman, not a 65-year-old man, they chopped a couple of brick pavers in that
God.
Yeah. So he was convicted of fraud and fined $15,000. And then in 2008, Adam was also found guilty of 4 driving offences, including drink driving and negligent driving, after he stalked a woman down a Sydney road in a hearse. Yeah.
I think Adam should get into real estate or something. That's
Yeah.
don't think the funeral home business is for him.
No. Actually, just talking about real estate agents being dodgy, that gives me a perfect segue for who I've got to nominate for local flog. But quickly, before we get into that, how do you rate Adam on the Flog Meter?
Oh, as a human being, I'm going to have to give him an 8.
Yeah. Could have guessed that. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry. Back to local flog. I received a little leaflet in my letterbox from a real estate agent that said, "Dear homeowner, I'm a local buyer currently looking to purchase houses in your suburb and surrounding area. I'm especially interested in properties that are original or dated, in need of work or a cleanup, run down or neglected, hoarded or cluttered, mid-renovation or unfinished, inherited or part of a deceased estate, or tied up in a difficult situation."
I think that's just pretty cheeky.
Yeah, and then it says, if your property feels like more work than it's worth, this is a simple alternative. It's like, what a fucking wanker.
I stumbled past your shithole when I was walking the street. If there is a house in here somewhere, I can flip it.
But look, we've got a few weeds in the lawn. You know, we're busy people. So, yeah, I'm not going to sell you my house, motherfucker. Oh, and also, do you know what it says? It's got his name and then it says, like, this is his, like, good point. Local buyer, straightforward, respectful. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks' time for another episode of Flogs. We'll see you around.
Cheers, boy.
Bye.